We'll get to that. It's for our rescue systems. I think we all said we need an ATC device.
Yeah.
The ATC device is for rappelling. Why do you need an ATC device? Why are we going to be rappelling? This is, it's light, it's cheap. It might be useful if we are in a rescue situation, or if we're fucking in a tight spot and we gotta rappel down to something. I mean, that's pretty simple, right? What was it, 3 or 4 carabiners?
I think we did 4.
4?
I think so.
They're cheap, and I know we have a lot of them. From there, each person will have at least 2 prusik ropes, and we'll talk about the prusik ropes, how to tie them, how to use them, and so forth.
Let's see him, Derek.
Prusik rope is just a 7 to 8 millimeter accessory climbing rope, and we'll talk about what else? Optional accessories, if you were interested. I got this for Christmas. You were there. The tie block or tib block. This is the mechanical replacement for a prusik knot, which we'll talk about later as well. A belay this is kind of a belay device for climbers. It's called a gree-gree, made by
Petzl.
Petzl, I think. Yeah, oh, it's right there. Petzl. You can opt to buy and haul with you an ascender, which is kind of like the tie block. It's a mechanical advantage, the mechanical replacement over a prusik. Derek has a Petzl ascender. Petzl also makes a mechanical lock. I think it's called a traction or a traxion. It's got an X in it. I don't know how you pronounce it right, but it doesn't matter. Okay. Good. On to knots?
Knots? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we're going to talk about knots. I'm going to use this climbing rope to tie the knots only because it's bigger and hopefully the knots will be a little bit better, better visibility to see how they're tied and whatnot. We're going to start with the prusik. A prusik is a piece of rope, accessory climbing rope, that's just a loop. What?
We scoot back just a touch.
Yeah, okay.
That's good.
Each person has at least 2 prusik, maybe 3, of a couple of different lengths, and we'll talk about those in the rescue, and they're for other things, equaling out, equalizing anchors, and yeah, so first we're going to talk about the knot you need to make, or need to know how to make a prusik, and then we'll talk about the prusik knot. I hope that's not too confusing. Okay, to make a prusik, it's 2 fisherman's knots on top of each other. So, Derek, could you hold that? So I don't have to hold that. There we go. There we go. 1 loop, 2 loop, and then back through the loops in the same direction as your ropes going. Now why? There's 1. Do the same thing with the opposite side. 1, 2, and through both loops. Sorry, my hands are in the way. Now, when these get pulled tight, this is only going to get tighter on itself. So I know it's big, I know it's ugly, and it's out of place, but you can see the really fine version of it. That's the big, clunky version, so hopefully you can see the idea. See, when it's not too tight, you can see how that's what we're doing. The tighter you pull, the tighter the knot's going to get. That's the idea. That's how we make a prusik. to use a prusik. A prusik knot is really easy to fuck up. If you do it correctly, you can ascend a rope by yourself. That's the point. Part of our rescue system, which we'll show later, involves a unassisted rescue. That means it's the worst possible case scenario for you, but you're alive, you're okay, and you can get yourself out of the hole. You can't touch the wall, you're suspended, you're like hanging in the middle of this big void, right? So you're attached to your rope. You can take your prusik off of your harness, and you take your prusik rope like so. 1, 2. Now here's where it gets messy. So you gotta slowly pull this into place. See how messy that is? I'm gonna do it again so that nut's right in the way. 1, 2. That almost looked okay. So now that is close, but we have to organize this so it looks a lot cleaner, and it will work better when it's cleaner. All these got to be in order. There you go. Actually, that went pretty well. It kind of looks like, I think it's like a double half hitch, but with like an extra loop in it. Why this knot is, we'll show it outside, is you can put all your weight on this and it will bite the rope. And you can have your whole weight or a foot standing on this and you can start sliding stuff up the rope and climb up the rope. That is a prusik knot. That's important to know. It's important to know this inside, outside, upside down, and be able to do it quickly and efficiently. To release the knot, all you gotta do is slide it and it'll bite again. It bites when you put the weight on it. This doesn't, you're thinking this isn't gonna work. It does, and it's actually quite effective. The next version of a prusik, do you have a carabiner? Next version of the prusik, which we'll show this in one of our rescues as well, is a similar version, which is, now we're just going to wrap all this around as many times as we can. And this one, I don't think there's a way to make it not look horribly messy. But you just stack all these coils around the rope a bunch of times, and you connect your carabiner back to it, and then you have this giant prusik. It's ugly looking, I know, but you have this as a pull point, and you have all those coils biting on the rope. So that's the other version of the prusik knot, which we will show later. Okay. What's next on the knot list?
Bowline.
Bowline knot.
Why not?
In my opinion, this knot is the most important knot. I think you can use this knot almost in all walks of life. It's not just a boating knot, it's not just a Boy Scout knot, it's not just a climbing knot. You can use this all over the place. Why a bowline knot? All the bowline does is create a loop that does not slip, and the knot can easily be taken out even after the knot is pulled extremely tight. You can tie the bowline, I believe we counted 8 different ways so far as upside down and backwards, but it's the same mechanics of the knot, and once you understand it, you can put your loops in any direction you want, and as long as you can recognize the mechanics of the knot, you'll never screw it up. This knot is one of the more difficult knots I've found for people it is to learn how to figure out. Does that make any sense at all? It's tough for people to figure out, I feel. Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's really important. Okay, can you see it, Kay? I made a loop. The way they used to teach us in Boy Scouts is they take the bunny rabbit and your bunny comes out of its hole, around the tree, and back in the hole. That's bowling. Now you have a loop that won't slip.
Do it again from this angle.
Oh well. And to, assuming that this knot is extremely tight, we just been climbing on it and someone fell, and so this is jerked really tight. To undo the bowline, people call it breaking the knots back, and you roll it over, and this loop here, you just bend this down, and it comes loose quite easily. Okay, so we'll do it again from this angle. Rabbit out of the hole, around to the tree, back in the hole. Another variation, or a quick change. Rabbit out of the hole. From here, the last time, I went this way around the tree. I'm gonna go this way around the tree. Same thing. Here's what happens when you screw it up. And this is what happens every time when you screw it up. This loop is the opposite direction. So people would go, this is incorrect way, not right way. You'll see the difference. Out of the hole, around the tree, and back in the hole, and we've missed it. See the difference? That loop has to be on the bottom side. You have to pull the long length of the rope, or the parent side of the rope. You got to bend it over. You're locking it in place. There's a lot of videos like this on YouTube. You can go the opposite side too. They say, but Derek, your loop's on the wrong side. So go down, around the tree, back up that hole. I just did it upside down, but it worked.
Surfy likes it.
Surfy likes it. Oh, it's on Die Hard. The first Die Hard, when John McClane's about to blow the roof off the building. He's gonna detonate the whole thing, and he grabs the fire hose, and he's just like, I'll never be on a tall building again. Well, he does the bowling around himself, and it was awesome. You can do it one-handed here. Okay, I'll hold on to that right there. You can do it one-handed, like Timmy stuck at the bottom of a well. Over, towards you, around, and then
Timmy has smaller hands.
Smaller hands, and then back through that loop. There. Why? Because if Timmy's stuck at the bottom of a well, or John McClane's jumping off Nakatomi Tower, this isn't gonna, yes, this isn't gonna cinch any tighter. That's the point. Okay. Bowling, please, please, please learn that knot and be able to do it quick. Next is
Figure 8.
Figure 8.
Tie yourself.
Figure 8 is super simple. We use this as an anchor, not an anchor, I don't want to use that word, as a knot to tie ourselves into
Attached to
the rope.
team,
Yeah, attach the rope to him, I guess that's a good way.